I just got done teaching a class at the gym, and it's so bright out. There's somebody here doing Dexa Body Scan, so I'm gonna get mine done and see what the results come back, because I haven't had any type of measurements or progress done recently, so I'm gonna get this done. It's about $50, so I was like, okay, yeah, tell me more about my body. So I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna see how things turn out. So I'm gonna show you guys how the process works. I'm gonna ask them to just explain stuff so you guys know too, and then you can look into them if you guys feel like you want to do this.
Last name?
Barker.
K-E-R.
So Marcy here is getting the Dexa scan done. What is happening is the scan arm that's about to start moving is taking little pictures of her body, and it's going to put into the computer and measure her body fat percentage, how much muscle and fat tissue she has on her body, where she has it. It also does a bone density report, which is always good to know. Make sure our bones are staying nice and strong. It does a fat distribution report. And then the last couple pages are just trend tables of showing changes if she'll get it done again. Why we should get these scans done is it's important to stay healthy. We can't change what we don't know, so it's always good to know, even though some people are afraid to get them. It's good information to start getting people healthier. So
How often should you get this done?
depends on the person. Some people get it done every 6 weeks if they're really like self-disciplining themselves. We mostly say get it done every 3 to 6 months.
So who shouldn't do this?
Ladies that are pregnant shouldn't do this because the machine does give off a little bit of radiation, but everyone else can do it.
Okay, so the guy upstairs said I was going to get like a 10-page report.
Yes, you'll get a 10-page report of telling everything. So it'll show the picture of your body that after it's getting scanned, it'll show your muscle and fat on your body and where it is. It tells your body fat percentage and the muscle and how much pounds of fat you have and how much you weigh. It identifies it into every region of your body, so it'll show how much you have in your trunk, which is your torso. It'll show how much you have in your android, or what we call abdomen area, the stomach, the abs. It'll show the gynoid, which is the hips and butt. It'll show the percentage wise how much fat is in each of them, how much muscles in each of them, and it'll also tell you how much the bones are. So after we do the scan, we'll send you upstairs and we'll have you get consulted, because it is a lot of information to take in, and it's just good to get an understanding of it.
Is this the most effective way to test body fat and all this, or are there other?
Yes, it is, because the machine does do X-ray, and the bod pod and in-body and all those other measurements that they have out there does not do X-ray. You can mess up those just by eating or drinking, or just if like the pinch one, if they pinch you in a different spot another day, then you can just mess it up just by that.
Yeah.
The X-ray, you can't mess it up because it uses the same technologies an MRI does, just doesn't go as deep.
Okay.
So it is the most accurate there is that is out there.
I want my clients to know the real, like I'm all about real, fun, sustainable, and I need to know where I need to improve all the time.
So Marcy,
First, tell me your name.
Please. I'm Brandon, and we run a company called Dexa Body. Dexa Body is the most accurate way to measure the body fat. It uses a technology called the Dexa scanner. The Dexa scanner is the gold standard of body composition. So, you know, even before we hit record, you and I were talking about numbers.
Yeah.
And what people get confused on is reality versus fiction.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people use handhelds, they use
I thought
calipers.
I was more lean than I am.
Anyway, she measured on the caliper, on the bioelectrical impedance earlier this year.
Yeah.
And that actually had her 14% higher than she really
Wow.
is. So there's a lot of methods that are really crappy.
That would suck. You go to the gym thinking you're a piece of crap, but you're not.
But you're not. So, I mean, she was a rock star.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at her, you knew it.
Yeah.
And she knew the other method was a piece of crap.
Yeah.
But, you know, the Dexa scan that we have is the best and most accurate way.
So I recorded it downstairs.
Perfect.
So they've seen it.
You guys have seen it all. Just to quickly tell you about how to find us, in case you didn't say that, we're at DexaBody.com, and Dexa is spelled D as in David, E as in Eric, X as in X-ray, A as in Apple.
Right here.
So, yep, we'll put it right there for you guys. We have an office in Holiday, for your Utah followers. They can come see us. What we're going to do for you and your followers, Marcy, is we're going to offer a special promotion code. So we're going to hook you up with a discount for you and all
We
your
love
followers.
discounts.
So we're going to set it up so your promotion code is Marcy Barker.
Cool.
Okay, just your name.
That works.
So we're going to do $20 off any test we do or test package.
You
so
guys go get it done. When I looked at this just at the table, he has these things right here. It's like, come on, you want to know about that. But I was gonna do it even before I knew how much it was, because this information is priceless. Like, I can't tell you what your numbers are. You can't go and get them measured any other way. So thank you. That's
You're
awesome.
welcome. We take the
That's
guesswork out of it. So we're going to now kind of go over the numbers here, Marcy. So if
Okay.
you have questions, please stop us.
Okay, I'm gonna show you guys my papers. Like, this is real.
Okay, so what we'll do here now, Marcy, is kind of go over your data. Now, all the users that are out there, just so you're aware, Marcy gave us the permission to tell this stuff out loud. So we are usually HIPAA compliant and don't share, but she signed our
But I'm
release
awesome,
form.
so I
She's
want
pretty
you guys to
awesome.
know.
So you can see the first thing that I want to emphasize to you and to your followers, Marcy, I'm sure you'll agree, the scale's a big fat liar. What we tell everyone is the scale doesn't tell you the muscle versus the fat.
Yeah.
And what we see a lot of times is we'll test girls all the time that are like 120 pounds, but they're skinny fat. I'm sure
Yes.
you've talked about that and you know all about that.
Yeah.
And so it's really a ratio from your fat to your muscle. So with you, Marcy, you only have 25 pounds of fat on your whole body and 91.1 of muscle. So your ratios are really, really good.
That's pretty cool.
You're doing it the right way.
I'm awesome.
She's a rock star, so that's awesome. So a lot of people just do a nothing but cardio, and they do lose fat, but they lose muscle too.
Yeah.
And it's really a matter of building muscle and dropping fat. And so your ratios are set really good. So we want to make sure everyone understands that. Don't use the darn scale, because it doesn't tell you. You and I both know this 5 pounds of muscle here is much heavier and denser than the 5 pounds of fat is.
Yes.
They actually weigh the same from a number, but if we hold it, the fat is much garbagey.
Yeah.
This is much better. This is muscle weighs more than the fat does, even though from a metric standpoint they weigh the same.
Yeah.
So just be aware, and that's really what we want your people to understand is look at the ratios, not the weight.
Yeah.
So you, Marcy, of course, as a trainer, the other thing I want to emphasize is females need to have a higher body fat percentage than guys.
Yeah.
You have babies, you have a slower metabolism, it's harder to put on muscle. So there's this thing called essential fat. So every female is never going to be lower than 10 to 13% anyways. That's
don't
what
want
you
to be.
need. No.
You never want to be.
And when you get below that, that's when you start screwing up your menstrual cycle and hormones and all kinds of stuff. So you can see the high-end pro athletes test 14 to 20 as a female. The fitness people test 21 to 24. So we all need goals. I know Marcy wants to shoot for that athlete range. So even Marcy, I presume next time we test you,
That
we're
really
gonna
is my goal.
we're gonna see you there.
Because I work out, but I'm not serious in anything yet. So, disclaimer, full accountability to you guys. I'm gonna improve my lean muscle.
So that's her goal. And then we take your body and we divide it by every region. So this image here, the white's obviously your bones. The orange would represent where you're storing muscle. And then the yellow coloring on this image represent where your body's holding on to fat.
Okay.
Do you have kids, Marcy?
4.
So as a mother, you could see your hips and your glutes. I'm sure you would verify that's where the fat tends to go as you have babies.
Yep.
And it's the hardest area to go. So that's why we see fat on your hips and your butt. That's called the glutes area. And when you look at the numbers here momentarily, you'll see the glutes is your trouble spot being a mom. Okay? And then the trunk is your torso area. So Marcy, you're already an athlete in the trunk. You're already 18% there.
Cool.
And then your belly, where you want to be the leanest, you're 16% there. So with you, it's just a matter of fine tuning. So females naturally in their arms and legs and glutes are the hardest spot to put on muscle.
Okay, so if I know I need to work on my arms and my legs, you can't spot train.
That's
right?
correct.
So what would you tell people that want to work on a certain area,
So
knowing that you can't spot train?
everyone holds fat differently. Okay, so based
on your
upon your
body
body type. So some people may naturally have some more than another. So what you really got to do is nutrition is 80% of the whole battle.
Yep,
And
the
so,
healthy eating
exactly,
challenge.
just like Marcy's talking to you
Yeah.
guys about. So if
Yeah.
you do nothing right, you got to do nutrition
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
You can see each region of your body. You can't spot train, but you're going to hold it differently. So with you, it's just a matter of looking at the areas of fat and convert that fat to muscle.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see specifically the pounds of each region. And that's really what you want to do, is just focus on training. You can't spot train, but your nutrition you could be on point on.
Okay.
So speaking of nutrition, what's cool about this test as well, there's a number that we get from this test that tells you your resting metabolic rate.
Yeah.
A lot of people have to guess what they're burning. This is custom to every person, so this is custom to you, Marcy. With the resting metabolic rate, what's very important about this, I'm sure you preach it, if you eat below this, you're actually going to lose muscle and get fatter.
Yes. Another name for this is your basal metabolic rate, but resting is way more accurate because you guys can use my calculator, marcybarker.com/BMR, but your resting metabolic rate is really like exactly the number. So we talk about this. People know it as starvation mode. Adaptive thermogenesis is
Exactly.
what it is. So this is cool because now I know exactly how many calories I have to eat. If I was just gonna sit on the couch all day long, I don't want to lose my muscle mass, so that's cool.
Yeah, you could see specifically, and then what you could do when you're dialing nutrition is obviously we don't want to eat below that number, or you, like you talked about, you lose muscle mass. And really, what a lot of people don't realize is after your body attacks the muscle, then this fat that we showed you earlier, your body's going to go into adaptive mode and start building fat cells because it knows you're starving it,
Yeah.
and it has to adapt. So it starts getting fatter. So, and then from here you could reverse engineer and you say, okay, if you want to be in a fat loss zone, you could track what you're burning and you want to put your body in a healthy deficit.
Right.
And that's what we want, a healthy deficit.
Where you get to eat a lot of food, but you're still reaching your goals.
Exactly. And the cool thing is the more muscle you build, the more you get to eat.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's awesome. Get super strong, then you get to eat more.
Yeah.
And then we measure the strength of your muscles in your bones. So as a female, you know you naturally lose bone density. One of the cool things we're going to show you, your followers, in a minute is we do a full bone density test on everyone as well. But this one just makes sure you're aging right and your score's really good. We want you higher than 5'4", you come in at 6'1".
Cool.
So that's good. And then we show you the percentage of your muscle in your regions. So like we said before, Marcy, your trunk is super, super lean. That's why that number is much higher.
Yeah.
So then legs and arms. So, you know, you could say, okay, well, I guess I got to hit my arms a little harder.
Yeah. Yes.
So this lets you know where your deficiencies are in your training protocols
Cool.
as well.
And I work on my arms a lot. So now
And so,
I know. I just need
yeah,
to switch it up.
Just
do
dial it up,
something.
tweak it a
Yeah.
little bit. You know, it could be a matter of adjusting the rep scheme,
Yeah.
you know, adjusting the weight scheme. So
Cool.
just that's a cool thing. Now we got data, we can know.
Yeah.
And then from here, what's very important as well, the abdomen areas you see here, there's two colors here. The pink represents what they call the bad visceral fat, or fat tucked up against your organs. This test is able to identify that for you as well. And when we have too much visceral fat, that causes a whole slew of health problems,
Yeah.
diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. Nothing good comes from having fat against your organs.
Yeah.
So the cool thing with you, Marcy, you only have 0.21 pounds of your belly fat is what we call the bad visceral fat.
Because of those MUFAs.
Exactly.
Monounsaturated fatty acids.
Yep. And then you can see you have only 1.3 of total belly fat. You're super, super lean there. So that's awesome, but mostly your belly fat's what we call your outer subcutaneous level.
Okay.
And that's what you want. That's your healthy fats.
Okay.
So it's cool we're able to differentiate that, and then we trend and track it all for you.
Okay.
So-
So does
Subcutaneous.
fat, does that turn into visceral fat?
It can.
The more unhealthy
Yep,
you get?
exactly. And,
Okay.
and obviously the worse you eat, the sugars and all the garbage
It's gonna add on.
goes right to there.
Okay.
So stay
Cool.
away from all that bad stuff. And then what's cool too is we do a full muscle symmetry report based upon your right arm and your left
Oh,
arm.
yay.
The cool thing is, even though you can't spot train, you can get your body as symmetrical as possible. So the interesting thing for you, Marcy, your right arm weighs more than the left, being your dominant arm, of course. You're equal in the fat on each of the arms, but because you're right-handed, I presume, your right arm is stronger than your left arm.
Yeah.
Okay. However, legs are kind of a different animal. You can see your right leg is leaner than your left leg. It weighs less than your left leg does, actually. There's a little more fat on the left than the right. And with you, your left leg is just a tiny bit stronger than your right leg. So sometimes injuries come into play, sometimes athletic, dance, cheer, soccer, those kind of things could come into play. But the goal is to be as symmetrical as possible, and you really are.
Okay, cool.
Okay? And then this part here, Marcy, for all your female users, is one of the most important parts. So the Dexa machine was originally created just to measure bone density.
Okay.
And so as part of the test, we do a full bone density workup on you. So this is exactly what Marcy's bones look like, full disclosure. That's what she looks like.
Awesome my bones look.
So a couple of cool things. The darker the color, that means the bones are denser or stronger there. Everyone really is thick-headed, Marcy, like we joke, because that protects our brain. It's supposed to be. Your spine's nice and aligned, very strong.
Yay.
Pelvis very strong, femur's very strong. All your major joints look good.
Good.
You can see in your arms down by your wrists, they're not very dark. And then your inner rib cage not very dark. That's by design. That's because our ribs and our arms are the weakest part in our body. That's why they seem to break so easy.
Okay.
So the higher the number, that means the bones are denser or stronger there. And then we got 2 scores we look at. So the T-score is the important one that measures osteoporosis. Okay. So you've got a great score there. You're a +1. What we want to see here for normal bones is to have the T-score higher than -1.
Okay.
So you're a +1, so you're doing a great job.
Yay.
If this was negative, that would be bad news,
Yeah.
where we're talking about osteopenia and osteoporosis.
Okay.
And then the cool thing is too, Marcy, we compare your bones against ladies your age. A 0 score on the age match Z-score just means your bones are average.
Okay.
So there's nothing about Marcy that's average. She's a rock star. We know that.
Yeah, everybody
so
knows that already.
her bones actually are in the 93rd percentile for your age.
Cool.
Meaning your bones are much stronger than they should
That's
be.
good, because most
So-
people my age haven't had 4 kids.
Exactly. So you're a rock star. So good job.
Taking care of my body as best as I can.
And then these pages, Marcy, are going to be very impactful as we do follow-up testing for you and follow-up testing for your users.
Okay.
What we do is establish baseline or starting points.
Okay.
So we measure the fat baseline by every region of the body, and then 2 pages deep, we do the muscle baseline. So the real trick, as you know, is we want to drop fat. And this one's cool because we can see specifically where you've lost fat.
Yeah.
So even though you can't spot train, you can see results in each region of your body.
Okay.
So where you're holding on to fat differently, we could see exactly where training's working.
So when I come back next time, I'll have
All data
this
changes,
data.
exactly. So we'll have it all in here and track it. And then the important thing, of course, is to build muscle while dropping fat.
Yep.
You don't want to drop fat and drop muscle. You don't move the numbers as fast.
Yeah, for sure.
So next time we'll have a lot of cool data to compare, and that's when it gets pretty awesome.
So people should get tested at least,
Every
4
2 to 3, 4 months, kind of
Okay.
depending on how they're doing.
Okay.
Just so you're aware, I'd be doing an injustice. We do 2 other tests in Holiday. We
Okay.
do a full metabolic panel, so it's really awesome.
Okay.
If you really want to dial in your metabolism, see what's really going on,
Yeah.
we have a test there that we could do to see exactly what's going on for your metabolism as well.
And that's for how well I'm eating or not.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that way you could dial in your macros and dial in your macronutritions.
I would love
to
that
make
one.
certain. So we'll have you come on up and do a test there.
That'd be cool.
And then we do one other test that's pretty intense, but it's pretty awesome.
Okay.
It's called the VO2 Max
Oh, yeah.
test. So this is the one where you
gotta
wear a
work,
crazy
work,
mask and we
work.
push you like crazy.
Yeah.
But it gives you awesome data to see
Yeah.
what your target heart rate
That
zones
one's
are.
like, yes, I want to do it,
It's
but
yes,
I don't
but
want
it's
to.
no. It's kind of sucks. So
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome, but it
Those-
makes for a fun video. But you got to
Yeah.
get super sweaty and
So I
look
did
like
that
Batman.
in exercise science when I was going to school, and it was awesome. The teacher wouldn't let me do it because I was pregnant, because you can't breathe that well
Yeah.
when you're pregnant. But
Exactly.
okay, so that's cool.
And that one tells you your target heart rate zone, so you can do heart rate based training.
Yeah.
And then it tells you how physically fit you are with that VO2 max number.
So more advanced. than-
Exactly. But it's pretty awesome
Yeah.
for those people that really want to dial things
Yes.
in.
Yeah. Numbers that I can't give you. So
Exactly. So
Okay.
we'd love to see all you again in a few months, Marcy. And we'll
Yeah.
have you up to do that metabolism test.
Okay.
And
so how often do you come to Ogden?
we're in Ogden every couple months. We have a mobile testing unit that she tested on. You guys saw it. So we're only one of 2 in America that are mobile with this technology.
Oh, really?
So
Super cool.
pretty awesome. And
Okay, so I'm going to put all of their information below. I'm also going to post it in the private Facebook group. And if you're a member of Marcy's Circle, I'm going to tack on something extra just for you guys.
Sweet.
So, but all of you guys, if you're seeing this video, like use the code and go get it done, because this is something you can't get anywhere else, but this is really gonna help you hone in on what you need to do, because as much as I love to help you, I don't know everything about you, but this is everything about you that you need to know to start making changes in your life. So
I'm sure you're a big believer in you can't change what you don't measure and don't know.
yeah, for sure. Yes, we track our progress every day, you guys, and there's a reason for it.
And the Dex is the best way to track it, so don't track using BS measures.
Yeah.
Get the best stuff.
Yeah.
So
Okay, well, thank you.
awesome, thank you.
Thanks
It's
for your
great to
time.
meet you. We're happy to help you and your followers.
Yeah. Okay, you guys like and subscribe. Please ask any questions you guys have, and I'll be sure they get filtered to the right person to answer your questions. But other than that, have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys all later.
All right,
Bye.
thanks. Bye.